Hello Dub Nation, today we have a massive update on the explosive trade for center Jonas Valanciunas. He just signed a contract with the Washington Wizards this offseason, but a top NBA executive told Heavy Sports that Washington is already considering moving Valanciunas to gain some draft capital and assets for the future of the franchise. Let's break down what this trade will look like, what it will take for Golden State to pull off such a move, and how Jonas Valanciunas would or wouldn't fit on the Warriors roster. Before we get started, we want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Golden State needs to upgrade their roster before the season starts, or are you content to go with the current roster and focus on the young talent? If you think the current roster is sufficient, type in for no in the comments. If you think a trade or addition of another player is needed, type Y for yes in the comments below. We want to hear what Warriors Nation thinks about the current roster. Jonas signed a 3-year, $30.3 million contract with the Washington Wizards this offseason. When I first saw this, I was a little confused. Amid the flurry of free agency moves in early July, this one stood out to me as a bit odd. Valanciunas is a veteran center at 32 years old, and he chose to sign with a team like the Wizards that doesn't appear to be competitive now or in the near future. I wondered what Jonas Valanciunas' future in the NBA would be. An NBA executive detailed the path that could be taken by Valanciunas and the Wizards after he signs the contract. He said it was a smart move for Valanciunas, as it gave him a good paycheck at a time when there weren't many roster spots available. With the NBA's new rules, there's less financial flexibility, so this contract ensured that he would get paid, and the team that paid him could promise to trade him to a competitive team when the time came. The executive compared the situation to MLB, where a high-profile free agent might sign a contract with a team that isn't in the running for a title but is traded to a competitive team near the trade deadline. With the NBA's new rules, we could see more veterans like Valanciunas signing with lesser teams and being traded to competitive teams within the first season of his contract. As for teams that could be in the running for Jonas Valanciunas, the executive mentioned the Knicks, Lakers, and Warriors. If the Lauri Markkanen situation doesn't work out, that seems like a reasonable, albeit weaker, alternative for Golden State. The executive noted that the trade between the Warriors and Utah Jazz for Markkanen doesn't seem to be coming together, with the Utah Jazz asking for too much in return, such as Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, and Brandon Podziemski, which is unrealistic. I've been a fan of Valanciunas for a long time. He's a physical, veteran center who has elevated his game throughout his career, similar to what Brook Lopez has done. Valanciunas started out as a post player, but in recent years he's developed a solid three-point shot, adapting to the new era of the NBA where teams play with 5 wideouts. He's maintained his dominant post game and interior scoring efficiency, as well as decent defense in the paint. It's worth noting that Valanciunas is not eligible for trade until December, as he signed the contract this offseason. That gives teams about a 6-month window between signing the new contract and potentially making a trade around mid-December. The Warriors could explore a trade for Valanciunas depending on how their frontcourt is doing. If the Warriors are short on options at that position, as appears to be the case now, they could look for someone to bolster the frontcourt. Valanciunas could even start for Golden State, and the executive mentioned that Washington is seeking a first-round pick as compensation. That could depend on the number of interested teams and the competition for Valanciunas. Last season, Valanciunas had a subpar year, but he still played in all 82 games, which is admirable for a 32-year-old center. He averaged 12.2 points, 8.8 rebounds, nearly a block per game, and shot 56% from the field and 31% from 3. These aren't the best numbers of his career, considering that a few seasons ago he was posting 17 points per game and over 10 rebounds, with high levels of efficiency. Although his numbers have declined, especially in minutes played, there is hope that he can return to the level he was in 2022 to 2023. Maintaining his shooting efficiency and improving his three-point percentage, in addition to continuing to grab 10 rebounds per game and score in double figures. Valanciunas may not offer the same floor spacing as Lauri Markkanen, but he provides a solid interior presence that would help solve the team's rebounding problem. He's an efficient scorer in the paint and is good at grabbing offensive rebounds. I don't think this trade would move the needle drastically, but it would certainly improve the Warriors roster by balancing out the positional spread and having a positive impact on the team as a whole. We'd like to hear your thoughts. Should the Warriors trade for Jonas Valanciunas? If you think they should pursue the Lithuanian center, press T for trade in the comments. If you think a 32-year-old center with declining numbers in recent seasons isn't a good fit, press P for pass. We want to hear from you. Now, I'm going to break down why I would make the trade, why I wouldn't make it, and why Golden State should consider it. Additionally, I'll present a trade idea of what it would take to acquire Jonas Valanciunas from the Wizards. So why would you trade for Jonas Valanciunas? He's incredibly available. My favorite quote in the world of sports cliches is, "The best skill is availability." Valanciunas has played 79 or more games 5 times in his career. He played 79 games 2 seasons ago and 82 games last season. This guy is the definition of consistency when it comes to being on the court, and that's something I want from the Warriors, especially considering players like Andrew Wiggins, who has been out, and Gary Payton, with his injury history. Valanciunas is a dominant rebounder. For most of his career, he's grabbed 10+ rebounds per game, which is something the Warriors clearly need. Trayce Jackson-Davis was one of the team's leading rebounders last year, and he's not even close to 7 feet tall, and is seen more as an undersized center or even a power forward in many situations. Draymond Green, who is relatively small compared to Valanciunas, was also one of the team's leading rebounders. Having a bigger player who can impose his physical presence is a significant advantage. Additionally, Valanciunas is a great shot blocker. Given the Warriors' offense and how they operate, having good shot blockers to open up space for shooters is crucial. Valanciunas is an excellent short blocker to the basket. He may not be as big of an athlete as Jackson-Davis, but he has good hands and is a big target, ideal for deep passes. His floor spacing ability is a bonus. While his three-point percentage wasn't great last season, only around 31%, in previous years he's been in the 35 to 37% range. That's an average three-point percentage for a 7-footer who spent most of his career in the post. That would be a huge boost to the Warriors' offense, which often runs a 5-man lineup. By trading for Valanciunas, you're keeping your top young talent. Players like Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski have a lot of potential and are essential to the team's future. If you can keep those young talents, you can continue to build a strong team while also bringing in a seasoned veteran to bolster the frontcourt. So why wouldn't you make the trade? Valanciunas has a sizable 3-year contract worth $30.3 million. It's not an outrageous deal, but it's paying him nearly $10 million per year, which is significant. Given Valanciunas' age, there is the question of injury risk and a drop in performance. He is 32 years old and is in the latter stages of his career. Centers tend to decline in their physical production at this stage, and there is a legitimate concern about him maintaining his level of play throughout his contract. Additionally, the trade may not move the needle dramatically in terms of championship competition. Valanciunas is a good piece, but he is not a star who can transform a team immediately. The Warriors still need significant contributions from their core players, such as Stephen Curry and Draymond Green, to remain competitive. In short, there are pros and cons to trading for Valanciunas. He brings rebounding, defense, and good floor spacing, as well as impressive durability. However, his contract, age, and limited potential impact are legitimate concerns. The final decision will depend on how the Warriors assess their need to strengthen the frontcourt and whether they believe Valanciunas is the right piece to balance their lineup. After all, we know it's time for the Warriors to consider a risky move. For years, the Warriors have played conservatively, re-signing their veteran stars while spending draft picks on young prospects. That was the two-timeline strategy championed by owner Joe Lacob. While it brought them victory in the 2022 NBA Finals, it proved inadequate to sustain their dynasty. The upcoming offseason looms as a critical moment for the Golden State Warriors, poised to reshape the trajectory of the franchise. Will they commit to one last championship run or opt for a financial restructuring? Mike Dunleavy Jr. and the front office face a daunting array of choices, leaving fans eager to learn what the team's next moves will be. The anticipation surrounding Golden State's future is intensifying. Before we wrap up, be sure to subscribe to the channel. After all, as we've said before, we're producing Warriors videos almost every day. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow on Gold-Blooded News. In conclusion, the future looks uncertain for the Golden State Warriors. With the possibility of losing and adding players to the team and with the various trade options available, the Warriors are well positioned to continue to be a force to be reckoned with in the NBA. Stay tuned for more updates on the Warriors, and remember to support by leaving your opinion in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications to know when I send new news. Thanks for following Gold-Blooded News. Cheers and see you next time.
We're gold-blooded!
Go Dubs!